Okay, good afternoon everyone. So, today I will continue the chapter chemical coordination and integration, and in my previous class I have completed up to the pancreas and only three endocrine glands are left. These are adrenal gland, testis and ovary. So, today I will discuss about these three. So, first I will discuss about the adrenal gland. So, like every day, first we will come to know about the location. So, if I draw a kidney, the position of adrenal gland is like this. Okay, so I have drawn one kidney. So, what is the position of adrenal gland and what is the number? It is one pair because two kidneys are present. So, the number of adrenal gland is one pair or two. And what is the exact position? That adrenal gland is located on the anterior part of each kidney. Okay. So, it is present on upper side of the kidney, and that is why it is having another name. Adrenal gland is considered as suprarenal. 334. Suprarenal because because of its position, as it is present on the above of the or anterior portion of the kidney. So, adrenal gland is considered as suprarenal. Okay. Now, next part is you have to know that in the adrenal gland it is having two types of tissue. That means it is divided into two parts, adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. What are these two parts? I am repeating, adrenal cortex and adrenal medulla. So, we can differentiate adrenal gland into two like cortex and medulla. So, as you know, always the centrally located part is considered as medulla and the outer part is considered as cortex. I am repeating that the gland is composed of two types of tissue. The centrally located part is considered as adrenal medulla and the outer side portion is considered as adrenal cortex. Okay, so you can see it from the book also. Now, if we draw this type of part, a large view of adrenal gland, then which one will be the adrenal cortex? As I have mentioned, the outer part. So, this part is outer part and it is considered as adrenal cortex, and the inner part, the centrally located part of adrenal gland, it is considered as adrenal medulla. Okay. Omrin, stop recording the call. Now, next part is that we will come to know about the different hormones. Okay, we will come to know about the different hormones. Omrin, stop recording the call. Okay. So, adrenal medulla mainly secretes two types of hormones. So, from the adrenal medulla, we will get mainly two types of hormone. So, what are the name of these two types of hormones? One is adrenaline, another one is noradrenaline. So, from the adrenal medulla, two important hormones can be released. One is adrenaline and another one is noradrenaline, and these two hormones are having two alternative names also. What are they? Epinephrine and norepinephrine. epinephrine and norepinephrine. Okay, so I am repeating that from the adrenal medulla, two types of hormones can be released. One is adrenaline or epinephrine, and another one is noradrenaline or norepinephrine. Okay, so you have to know that what are the different functions of this hormone. This adrenal gland is considered as fight and or flight hormone. Fight and flight hormone. Why? Now I will tell you why it is called so. And these two hormones they are having a general name. Their general name is catecholamine. Their general name is catecholamine. Okay, so these hormones are generally considered as catecholamine. Now, these adrenaline and noradrenaline are secreted in the response of any kind of stress. Okay, they will secrete in the response of any kind of stress, and particularly during the emergency situation. If any situation in the emergency situation, our body will respond. How? Because with the help of these two hormones, epinephrine and norepinephrine, which will be secreted by the adrenal medulla, and that is why these are considered as emergency hormone or hormones of fight or flight. So we have used the term that is emergency hormone or fight or flight. So what is the meaning of fight or flight? That means if we get some shock or any other situation occurs, then what will happen? These hormones will help us to take the decision. They will tell us that either we have to fight with that fear or the other situation, or we have to flight. Okay, so that is why these two hormones, and it is considered as emergency hormone, because this hormone will be released at the emergency time, and at that time, or it can be considered as fight or flight hormone. Okay, now how? Because these hormones increase the alertness, like our blood pressure, heartbeat, our pupillary dilation. Okay, raising of whenever if we got any kind of shock or sudden we face something unwanted suddenly, then what happens? Our raising of our hairs, sweating, etc. These type of situations can be done, and this is responsible, and also the rate of the blood pressure, rate of the respiration. Okay, so how this catecholamine actually stimulate the breakdown of glycogen, which will result in an increased concentration of the glucose. Okay, as I have told you that rate of respiration will be increased. How? Because respiration, for the respiration glucose is required. So this catecholamine will help to break down of glycogen to glucose in the blood. So the amount of the glucose will be high in the blood, and as a result what will happen? The respiration rate of the respiration will be high very easily, and also they also stimulate the not only the glycogen, it also stimulate the breakdown of lipid and proteins also. Okay, so this is all about the and these two hormones are togetherly playing a great role in maintaining the body balance. That means whenever we are getting any kind of shock, these hormones, one hormone will increase the heart rate, and it will help to overcome the situation. Okay, and that is why it is considered as fight or flight hormone. Now next part is adrenal cortex. So this was all about the adrenal medulla. Now we have to look into the adrenal cortex part. And adrenal cortex is having 3 layers. So what are these 3? adrenal cortex is having 3 layers, and these 3 layers are zona glomerulosa. Let me write it down. Zona glomerulosa. Why I have written it at the first? Because it is the outer layer. Okay, this is the outer layer and it is considered as zona glomerulosa. In the middle we will find zona fasciculata. And at the end we will find zona reticularis. Okay, so this is the outer layer, this is the middle layer, and this one is the inner layer. Okay, so in the adrenal cortex 3 layers can be found. At the outer layer side is zona glomerulosa, in the middle we will find zona fasciculata, and at the inner side we will find zona reticularis. Okay, and the hormones which are released from the adrenal cortex is considered as corticoids. Corticoids. As you have seen that the hormones which were released from the adrenal medulla, they were considered as catecholamines, but the hormones which are released from the adrenal cortex, they are generally considered as corticoids. Okay, and these corticoids mainly may be of 3 types: glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, and sex corticoids. So what are they? Glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, and sex corticoids. Okay, so generally they are considered as corticoids, and corticoids are mainly 3 types: glucocorticoids, mineralocorticoids, and sex corticoids. Now, the corticoids which are actually involved in the breakdown of the carbohydrate. So, in the term you can find glucocorticoids. So, so from the gluco we can say that glucose, and glucose is a carbohydrate. So, what will be the function of glucocorticoids? The function of glucocorticoid helps in the carbohydrate metabolism. Okay, and in our body, if we consider the main corticoid, so glucocorticoid is the main corticoid hormone in our body. Okay, and the next one is mineralocorticoid. So again, from the name we can say the answer mineralo, that means it is related to minerals. Okay, so these hormones will help in the regulation of the balance, it will help in the maintenance of the balance of the water and electrolytes in our body. Okay, so what is the role of mineralocorticoid? Mineralocorticoids will regulate the water and mineral balance in our body. Okay, and the last one is sex corticoids. Again, from the name you can say the answer that it is related to the sex hormones. Okay, so if I say about the mineralocorticoids, so an example is aldosterone. Aldosterone is the main example of mineralocorticoids which can be found in our body. Okay, so again we will see the different functions. Actually, first one was the glucocorticoids. Glucocorticoids stimulates gluconeogenesis, lipolysis, and proteolysis. So lysis means breakdown. Okay, so from this term you can understand that what is the function of these glucocorticoids again, and it also inhibits the cellular uptake and utilization of amino acid. Okay, and this cortisol is also involved in maintaining the cardiovascular system as well as the kidney function. Okay, so the main glucocorticoid is the cortisols. Okay, so what is the function of the particular cortisol? It is all involved in the maintaining the cardiovascular system and as well as in the kidney function. Okay, and this cortisol also can produce an inflammatory reaction and can suppress our immune system. Okay, and another function of cortisol is that this also can stimulate the RBC production. And the second one I have written the aldosterone. So aldosterone acts on the renal tubule. So in the excretion chapter already you have read that from the renal tubule important parts will be reabsorbed, so minerals will be reabsorbed. So this aldosterone is an example of mineralocorticoid, and this will act on the renal tubules and it will stimulate the absorption of sodium ions, potassium ions, water and phosphate ions. Okay, and it also helps in the maintaining of electrolytes. Okay, and so if they are reabsorbing the ions, so they are having role in maintaining the body fluid volume, and according to, and another part was that it is having role in maintaining the electrolytes. So these are also related to our osmotic pressure, blood pressure. So aldosterone is also having role in maintenance of the osmotic pressure and blood pressure. Okay, now so another last part is the sex hormones. So from what are these androgenic steroids, these also be secreted from the, and as you know that these are the steroid hormones and these are having main role in the growth of the axial hair. Okay, and pubic hair and the facial hair. So that means at the time of puberty we have seen some secondary changes will be there. So these sex hormones will help to bring those secondary characteristics in the body of a boy or girl at the time of puberty. You know that what are the different changes that can occur at the time of puberty. That means facial hair, hair on the chest, axial hair growth, okay, pubic hair growth. So and these are the different function of sex corticoids. Okay, so from the adrenal gland we have discussed the location, hormone and different name of the different hormones and their function. Okay, so that is all about the adrenal gland. And as you in your syllabus the hyposecretion and hypersecretion part is not there. That means some diseases or some abnormalities may occur due to the hypo and hypersecretion of these hormones. So this part, as I can see, is not in your NCERT syllabus. That is why I am not discussing this part. So another two endocrine part is left, that is testes and ovary. So now I will discuss about these two. What is the position of the testes? Testes is the singular, and if we can say the plural form, then we have to say testes, T-E-S. So what is the number of testes that can be found in the male body of human? So the number is one pair or two. And what is the again we have to know these 3 points. That is the first, we have to know about the location. So what is the location of the testis? It is present outside the abdomen, inside the scrotum. Okay, and you know that why scrotum is extra abdominal, that means why scrotum is present outside the body. Okay, and these testis performs dual function as a primary sex organ as well as endocrine gland. Why primary sex organ? Because in male body sperm can be produced from the testes, inside the testes. So primary, we can differentiate the sex organs into two types, primary and secondary. Primary means from which gametes will be produced, like in case of male it is sperm, and in case of male it is ovum or egg. So as from the testes sperms can be produced, that is why testis is considered as primary sex organ, and it also acts as endocrine gland. Why? Because from this gland also hormones will be released. Okay. Now if you see the large view of the testes, we can find the process of the formation of sperm is considered as spermatogenesis, and this process is occurring inside that, like these different processes are going on, and inside that a special type of cells are present, like this type of, you can see I have drawn just only one part. So testis is composed of seminiferous tubules and interstitial tissue. Okay. So and the Leydig cells or interstitial cells which are present the intertubular spaces, which produce a hormone which are considered as androgen or testosterone. So from the testes, which hormone we will get? We will get androgens. So in case of testes, we can call it testosterone. Okay, so seminiferous tubules are present like this, and some cells are present in between these, and these are considered as interstitial cells, or we can call it the Leydig cells, and these are the Sertoli cells, and from these cells they are getting the nutrition. So let me repeat this part, that inside the testes, you can remember that structure, human male reproductive system, which one I have discussed in the class 10 already. So there I have shown that some tubule like structures, these type of parts you can remember. So if you see, make a cross section, then you will find this type of seminiferous tubules, and inside that seminiferous tubules spermatogenesis process is taking place. Spermatogenesis is a process from which the sperms can be produced, from primary spermatogonia to secondary spermatocyte, tertiary. So ultimately we will get the spermatid or sperms, and these are the different stages of spermatosis, and this is the sperms, and these are the Sertoli cells from where the sperms are getting the nutrition. Okay, and these are the and in between the seminiferous tubules, some in the intertubular spaces, group of cells are present which are called as interstitial cells or Leydig cells, and from the Leydig cells androgens can be produced, and in case of male it is testosterone. Okay, it is testosterone. Now you have to know about the function of the androgen or testosterone. Okay, so what is the main function? Androgen regulate the development and maturation of the male accessory sex organ. So again you have to remember the function of the, you can remember the primary sex organ, secondary sex organ, primary sexual characteristic, secondary sexual characteristic, and you have to also remember the not audible. Now it is okay. Okay. So what I was telling about that what is, you have to know the role of androgens. Okay, so androgen actually regulate, maintain, and help in the development, maturation, and function of the male accessory sex organ. So you know the testis is the main sex organ in case of male, and with the testis there are some accessory parts. What are they? Like after the testis we will get vas deferens, epididymis, and seminal vesicle, prostate gland, urethra. These are the different accessory glands in case of male reproductive system. And these androgen, that means this testosterone, will help in the development, maturation of those accessory glands. And also this hormone helps in the development of, in case of boys, like muscular development, facial and axillary hair development, aggressiveness, low pitch voice, or etc. That means some changes which can be seen in case of boys at the from the time of the puberty. These can be controlled by the testosterone hormone, that means androgens. Okay, so and another main function, already I have mentioned that androgens stimulate the process of spermatogenesis, that means process of formation of spermatozoa or sperm. So this process helps is stimulated by androgens. Okay, and these androgens also acts on the CNS, that means central neural system, and influence the male sexual behavior. Okay, actually it is totally male sexual behavior is totally dependent on these androgens. Okay, and these hormone produce a synthetic effects on protein and carbohydrate metabolism. So you can see that these androgens or testosterone is having great role in case of male of human. Okay, so you have to remember all these processes, and in the class 12 I will discuss about the detail about the male reproductive system, female reproductive system. There you will find that what are the other functions they are taking part, and detailed structures of all these, and the detailed structure of the spermatogenesis. And there you will come to know that how the different hormones are playing role, how this feedback mechanism is going on. Okay, so for today that's it. In my next class I will discuss about the ovary and the rest of the part of the chapter. Okay, so up to this portion clear everyone? If you are having any doubt you can ask me. No doubt? Okay, so thank you and bye bye everyone.